As a reminder, always seek out training from the shop supervisor or the technical director before attempting any task or demonstrations in this video. If you have never performed a task that I discuss or demonstrate, especially if it is one of the more advanced tasks or operations, you should only attempt them under the supervision of the shop supervisor or the technical director, especially if it is your first time doing so. If you haven't done something recently or would like a refresher, ask to be retrained or have the shop supervisor or technical director supervise you performing the task. As always, be safe in the shops, on stage or backstage, or in the production support areas. We're going to change some blades on the circular saws. They all are the same basic principle, just a little bit slightly different tool or slightly different method for getting access to the blade. We have two 6.5-inch diameter blades and two 7.25-inch diameter blades, and we're going to upgrade the blades on most of them. I think I upgraded this one. It's a brand new 40-tooth Diablo blade, and I think it's fine, so I'm not going to change it out. The one that was on was a piece of crap. Diablo is a brand you can get readily at Home Depot, but they don't have a lot of variations and options. I've got a 32-tooth blade and Diablo brand. I've got two 24-tooth blade Diablos, and then I've got some Tenryus. 52 teeth. 52 teeth. I'm going to put one of these on the other one because we've got 40 teeth on this one, and I think I want this one to be 52 tooth. So, first thing we do is we take the battery out. Got to make sure the battery's out or unplug the tool from electricity if it's connected to electricity. We've done that. Some of these tools have the changing tool built into them and hidden. The Makita does have the hex key on here. It says 5mm on it. This one's got its hex key for changing the blade. This one seems to have lost it. So I'll go looking for that after I change this blade. That hex key will fit in here and we'll loosen this up. But in order to loosen it up, we have to stop it from spinning. Most of the saws have some sort of locking mechanism. And you push that in and you hold that in while you are loosening the blade, and it will keep it from spinning. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to push that in one hand, and this is also reverse threaded. They're normally reverse threaded unless they are left-handed. So to loosen, I'm going to go clockwise. Pull that nut off, that set screw, and then there's a collet, a plate that comes off, and we're going to put that right back on. So now we can lift the blade guard out of the way, and the blade pops off. This blade is pretty chewed up. I see one carbide tooth missing. The other's largely, there's a second carbide tooth missing and some chips to it. So I think this is a goner, so I'm going to toss this one and get rid of it. It's important when putting the saw blade in that you think about which way it's spinning, and these saw blades spin down and up, down and up. So if we want it to go down and up, I need the teeth pointing down and up, down and up. Don't get confused by the label. The label doesn't always go on the outside. Down and up. So that's how the blade goes. Pull the blade guard back again. There's some gunk in here. Let's get some of this gunk out of here. Looks like hair and gooey gunk. I don't know what it is. Again, if you pull these collets out, make sure that you put the right side in and the right side out. If you see this little ridge that's on the perimeter of it, that is supposed to press onto the blade, not the other side. That's the part that's supposed to press on the inside of the motor. Slide the blade on, slide the other plate on. Again, remember, reverse threaded, so I'm turning counterclockwise. And now it's time to push my lever in. And again, to get it snug, don't over tighten it. But you will want to do a couple practice cuts. Make sure you got it tight enough, because sometimes they tend to slip around a little bit after they've just been newly installed. Once you've got the blade in, you can put it in there. Everything seems to be working normally. So now we've got a 40-tooth blade and a 52-tooth blade. I just put a 52-tooth blade on my circular saw at home because I'm doing some cabinetry work, cutting cabinet-grade plywood, and it makes me wonder why I would ever use a 24-tooth or a 32-tooth or any of the ones that you get from the normal stock at your Home Depot or Lowe's or other home improvement store or local hardware store. It cuts cleaner, it cuts smoother, it seems like the saw doesn't have to work as much. The idea is that with the teeth on these blades is that if you're rough cutting, if you're cutting 2x4, you want to have 24 or 32 teeth on the blade. And if you're cutting plywood, you want to have more teeth. They do make special plywood blades like this one, OSB and plywood, and this is a really thin curved blade. It doesn't have the wide carbide teeth, and if you're cutting OSB or MDF or things like that, you might want to put one of these on. But if you're trying to do general purpose cuts, these are just, you're going to be unhappy with these. So this is 140 teeth. It's a lot of teeth, but it's going to be slow going in plywood, and it's going to be slow going in 3/4 inch plywood. It'll probably be fine in your 1/4 inch plywood or 1/2 inch plywood or some of your smaller thicknesses. If you're using cabinet grade, it's going to be 11 layers of plywood, and this is just not going to be happy going through it. It'll probably produce a clean cut, but you've got to go really slow. This is the Makita worm drive or rear handle saw. It's the one that has the 2 batteries. The batteries have already been removed, so we're good to go. It also has a locking mechanism right here. And I'm wondering if it's supposed to have the blade this somewhere on the tool. I don't see a place for it, but this is the blade changing wrench for this saw. I'm going to pull this out of the way a little bit more. That will give me more room to work the tool. Again, rightsy-tightsy, leftsy-loosey, except when you're working, most saws are, I'm tightening, most saws are reverse threaded, unless they are a left-handed saw, which would then be normally threaded. And that's to prevent the blade from getting loosened up while it is in operation. Oh look, it says 13mm wrench. You can use a 13mm hex key, or you can use the blade changing wrench that came with the saw, and that is labeled as the changing wrench. This blade is probably pretty good. No, it's got some broken teeth. Yeah, it's got more than one broken tooth. I'm going to put that on the toss pile. So I've got, for my 7 1/4 inch blades, I've got this plywood blade, which I said I didn't want to do. I've got a DeWalt construction blade, 24 teeth. I've got a Milwaukee 60 tooth blade. I think I'll put that one on our Milwaukee. And then I'll put one of these Tenryu's 52 tooth blades on this one. Of course, probably what this means is I'll get these in the shop and students will come back into the shop and they'll just destroy these nice finer blades, but at least for the first few cuts, they will be doing an awesome job until they hit a nail or something. So again, making sure my teeth are pointing in the right direction, in the direction of the cut. That's this direction. Again, the label on these is facing the other direction. Two batteries here. Both pretty good. Sound right? A little bit of a funny sound to it. Clean cut. Okay. That's that one. And on with the Milwaukee. This is our corded tool. This is the heavy duty one. Well, it's not heavy duty, it's heavier duty. If you have to do a lot of repeated cuts and you don't want to be changing your battery all the time, you want to use this one. And this one does look like it's covered full of pitch and stuff. It's got a lock right here. Push that in and it's going to lock. I hope. There it goes. This is the Milwaukee circular saw changing wrench. It's very similar to the Makita, except the hole is a different size. This one can also operate with a hex key. I do not know what size. Yeah, this is one unhappy blade. Lots of teeth. Teeth look pretty good, just dirty and gummed up and pitched. Oh, there's a broken one or two. Yeah, there's a broken one there too. All right, 3 blades to toss. What do we say? We're going to put the Milwaukee 60-tooth blade on there. Again, label, we'll put it in backwards, so the label has to go down. And that's it. Changing blades on our circular saws. We should change them more often than we do. I have a drawer with the circular saws in it, the red Craftsman tool case. One of the drawers says all the circular saw blades in it, the small ones. The 10-inch circular saw blades and larger ones are in the tool room in a corner. And what do we do with the blades when we're done with them? We don't just throw them in the trash. We either put our blades in the sharps container if they're small enough. These blades are a little bit too big to fit in the sharps container, so we're going to try to put them back into their packaging and put them in the trash in the packaging, so that if someone is going through the trash or digging through the trash at any stage of where the trash might end up, they do not cut themselves on these rusty old blades. We can either do that, put them in the packaging if we can. Kind of hard to do that with some of these packagings. Or we can, again, cut a piece of plywood that's bigger than that and screw through them and link them together in between pieces of plywood, and that's another option. So we're going to slip the Makita or Milwaukee, no, it's the Makita. I'm going to slip the Makita in there, and we're going to slip in the Tenryu, or the old, whatever this one was. I don't know what brand it was, probably Oldham or something like that. All right, and we'll put these away for the next time we need to do blade changes, and we'll see how these all work.